Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Order of Business, November 22, 2022, regular meeting of the Dearborn Heights City Council. It's right now at 6 p.m. Madam Clerk, can you please take roll call?
Yes, Dave Abdallah,
Here.
Hassan Ahmad,
Here.
Mo Beydoun,
Here.
Nancy Breyer,
Here.
Robert Constant, is not here, Ray Muscat,
Here.
Tom Wenzel.
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. And next up would be our Pledge of Allegiance, and this is going to be read by Councilman Ray Muscat.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Councilman. Next up is our agenda approval.
Council Chair,
Okay, Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the amended agenda for the regular meeting of November 22nd, 2022 as submitted.
Second. Okay, motion made by Councilman Ahmad and seconded by Councilman Beydoun. Is there any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes.
Council Chair,
Councilman Beydoun.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the minutes of the regular meeting of November 10th, 2022, as outlined in 4A.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Councilman Beydoun and seconded by Councilman Muscat. Is there any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is item 4B, Dearborn Heights City Council approval of the minutes.
Council
Special
Chair.
meeting. Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the minutes for the special meeting of November 15, 2022 as outlined in 4-B.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Councilman Ahmad and seconded by Councilman Muscat. And discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is public hearings and comment on agenda items only. Again, I'd like to remind the residents, this is only on agenda items. If you'd like to speak, I'll go ahead and start with Zoom. Anybody on Zoom, Madam Clerk? I don't see nobody personally.
I do not see anyone either.
Okay, nobody on Zoom for the agenda items. Anybody in person that would like to speak on agenda items only? You will have 2 minutes. Please state your name, the street you live on, and the city you live in.
Al Abdallah, I live on 26 on Lila Lane. I am the realtor representing the buyer and the seller and the property located at 6428 North Inkster Road. And I just want to, I understand you guys are voting to approve the
Rezoning.
and with the exception of those 4 lots on the corner of Hass and Inkster, which we are going to be hopefully making that into office space and not housing, as it sits next to a commercial type building on the mentally disabled type facility next door, commercial across the street. It's on an intersection of a traffic light, so it's not like it's a commercial building in between residential housing. And we just ask that, we've been working on this for quite some time prior to all this rezoning, and we understand you guys are trying to rezone everything to residential with the exception of these 4 lots, and we just appreciate if you guys would continue with us being able to do what we planned on so we can close this deal and start the process with the commercial offices. Thank you.
Okay. Sure, no problem. Thank you. Anybody else that's here today? Let me get them from the clerk. Timer?
Right here behind you.
Oh, thank you. There you go. Thank you. Oops. And speaking? Yes. Oh, okay. So, as usual, I'd like you to announce if you're speaking as a councilman or as a resident.
I'll be speaking 2 separate times, one as a resident, one as a councilman.
Okay?
Okay.
And please state,
Okay.
just
I live on,
name, city, street.
My name is Tom Wenzel. I live on 2 Lane Street in Dearborn Heights. I'm here to speak on number 10A, item 10A on the agenda. It's the Joey's Law. This is something that's long overdue, and I've been a crossing guard for over 5 years myself, every school day of the year. And as a crossing guard, every crossing guard gets one of these. Okay? And when I first started, I had a sign similar to this. And you'd step out in traffic to stop traffic for kids, and over half of the time, someone would come and almost hit you or turn when you're not supposed to because they don't see you. Even no matter how much reflective stuff you're wearing or, you know, how big your sign is. But last year, I was issued this sign. And this makes a 100% difference. Not one time has anyone ever ran through this stop sign. Not one person has crossed the street when I'm holding this stop sign against them. That is one of the reasons that I think that we should look into all of our school crossing stop signs to be fitted with some kind of flashing device, such as this, solar powered or something we have to look into. About a year ago, I was part of a motion and a resolution to start a public safety commission in Dearborn Heights. One of the issues I brought up was school crossing guard safety. That topic, big topic at that time, was the Crestwood school crossing. But I brought up all the other school crossings in the area. Recently, we've had one child killed, but we had another one too, not too many people are aware of. We've had at least 2 children killed recently at school crossings, not during specifically at school times. But I brought up this public safety commission idea, and I was opposed by the administration and all the council, and it died. Now this happened, we tragically had a death. Now everyone's jumping on the bandwagon. And I think this is time for us to get back to this public safety commission. I plan on holding some community forums throughout the city on this, getting input. Not just a couple ideas from the residents, or a couple ideas from the city council. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next up? No, it'd be a total, I can't have you speak.
I'm speaking as a councilman.
I know, but you have a total of 2 minutes. Okay, just out of respect, I'm going to give you one more minute. I'll give you one more minute. Go ahead.
Well, you know what? I'll save it for the end of the meeting.
Okay.
I don't want to break any rules.
Thank you. Anybody else here in the audience that would like to speak?
We have one on Zoom.
All right. Can you let the one on Zoom, please? Mr. Janney, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. It's my understanding that one of the agenda meetings, I don't have it in front of me, however, is about the crossing
Correct.
progress. Is
Yes,
that-
correct. That's correct.
Okay. Listen, I know how difficult this has been. As you guys know, I've been on top of this for the last 10+ years. And I know everybody's been involved and everybody's been on top of it the best of your abilities and knocking on doors and tearing down walls. So this is really, really and a very emotional situation for me and for what's happened most recently with the unforeseen accident with the child who passed away crossing. So I want to say thanks to everybody who's been involved, who's shown a compassion for this because it's needed. If we don't speak out for our kids, no one will. We have to look after the community and our children. And I just want to congratulate everybody who's been involved and say thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Janney. And just for reference point, the item Mr. Janney is speaking about is item 11A, which will be coming up for a vote a little later on today. Okay? Anybody else on Zoom? Doesn't look like it. Anybody else in the audience? Doesn't look like it. Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Now we'll go next up. It's item number 6, fund transfers and current claims.
Council Chair,
Councilman Bedun.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the current claims 6-1 through 6-80 as submitted.
Support.
Motion made by Councilman Bedun and supported by Councilman Constant. Is there anything to discussion on
Council
that?
Chair,
Councilman Muscat?
there is one item, it is, and I sent an email to our director, Conrad, 636 on stump removal. And the other ones had addresses on them, but this one here didn't have any addresses, and it's the larger one, the larger amount of one. And it's 13,750, and there's no addresses on them. We have 634, 635 one has 15 addresses and one has got 29 addresses, but 636 has none. I don't know if I could really support
Well, can I explain?
636 without.
Robert Conrad, Director, DPW.
Okay,
That,
Director, I'm sorry, just give me a quick second. You done with your statement?
Well, I was going to ask him to talk about it anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
so that should not have come on council claims because that is the portion that was pre-approved with the contract that you voted on for the 125 stump removals. So the addresses were in that portion of it. So that concludes the 125 stumps that were pre-approved by the council to be removed. So the other ones that you see was, we've discovered other stumps that were beyond our 125. So those stumps that you haven't pre-approved are being brought to you in council claims, and those are the ones with addresses that you see.
But is there the list that was already?
It was on the list of the stuff that you pre-approved. I don't remember the entire price of that.
I do recall.
Yeah, I did.
So those, that 13,000 is part of that prior pre-approval for the 125 stumps.
So this right here then
Would not need to be approved.
not need to be approved? Since it was part of the 125,000?
Technically, no.
Okay, so we have to have this one stricken, removed from the current claim. Because it'd be, if we approved it, we'd be sending another $13,750.
Well, you're approving the payment of that invoice.
Which was already previously approved.
Which was basically previously
So we
approved.
don't, but we don't have to reapprove this then, since we've already approved it.
Technically, no.
Yeah.
Okay, so we-
I would remove it for clarification, but we were not, just to clarify, we were not going to pay it twice.
Yeah.
We're not going to, no, we're not going to pay it twice.
So let's remove 636, and if you look back on your records and say we have to pay something, you could always bring it back. You understand what I'm saying? If there's something in there?
No, there's, I mean,
Okay, so let's
that's
just
the
remove
100, that concludes the list
6-36.
of 125.
Okay, so let's remove, if you don't mind, the maker of the motion to amend the
Councilman
motion
Bedun.
to remove 636?
I support.
Okay, so let me just repeat. Motion made by Councilman Bedun for items 6-1 through 680, excluding 6-36, and Councilman Constant
Support.
has seconded that.
Council Chair.
She got it.
And the prior addresses we paid were on the prior invoice, is that
Yes, I
correct?
believe they were.
Yes.
Yeah, they were.
And I don't know, I don't think those were on any other council motions, or I mean, any other approvals before. I mean, I think those were paid directly. So I put a note on the other ones that are on there, and I think it confused the comptroller's office a little bit, and that's why that got on there.
In other words, those other addresses were in the city where the city removed stumps. We were paying that and they were documented.
Yes.
Thank you.
And we still have a lot more stumps. Are they going to continue to remove stumps?
I believe we're all caught up on stumps, so if there's stumps out there, then we're not aware of them.
Now, there's a bunch on Wilson, there's some on John Daly.
I think the one on John Daly was recently done.
Well, there's a bunch on Wilson, there's
Okay.
got to be seven to 10 of them there.
Okay, I mean,
But we can talk about that
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, email
Yeah,
them, whatever
yeah.
ones that you see.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Director.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councilman, for catching that.
Any other discussion items on that? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is item 7A, DPW Director Conrad bid award.
Council
Council
Chair,
Chair,
Councilman Muscat?
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council award the bid of the replacement of 2 boilers for City Hall to Alpha Mechanical Services LLC in amount of $27,800. In
Second.
addition, authorize the mayor and comptroller or clerk to sign the necessary warrants on behalf of the city and the treasurer to issue payment out of account number 101-265-981.000. Furthermore, authorize the comptroller to return all bid bonds to the unsuccessful bidders as outlined in 7A.
Second.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Muscat, seconded by Councilman Baydoun. Any discussions on that?
Council Chair, I'd like it to go to the councilwoman, please.
Okay, motion made by Councilman Muscat, seconded by Councilwoman Breyer. Is there any discussion on that? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Next item on the agenda is item 9A, reports from city officials. Treasurer Hicks Clayton Quarterly Investment of Funds Report.
Council Chair,
Councilman Baydoun?
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council receive, know, and file the quarterly investment of funds report for July, August, and September of 2022, the first quarter of the fiscal year 2022-2023, as outlined in 9A.
seconded.
Okay, motion made by Councilman Baydoun, seconded by Councilman Ahmad. Any discussion on that?
Council Chair,
Councilman Baydoun?
we don't need a vote on this, correct? This
No.
is just, okay,
Receive, no, and file.
thank you.
And I'd just like to make just a quick statement. Just want to send my apologies to Treasurer Hicks Clayton. I double and quadruple checked them with the stuff that she sent me. They were all correct, so thank you.
Council Chair,
Councilman Baydoun?
I will say that I also admire the councilwoman, emailed me, called me, texted me, puts things in my mailbox. She truly goes above and beyond, and I thank you for the continued communications, Councilwoman, or Madam Treasurer.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, motion made by Councilman Baydoun, seconded by Councilman Ahmad. This one just received note and file, so all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is item 9B, Controller King, Budget Amendments, General Fund and Water and Sewer.
Council Chair,
Councilman Ahmad?
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council amend the fiscal year 2022-23 GL and water and sewer operating budget by A, funding water sewer fund GL account 592-537-981-000 Joy Road, Virgil CDBG water main in the amount of $98,581. B, funding general fund GL account 101-440-731-000 Amherst Storm in the amount of $22,000. C, funding general fund GL account 101-691-745-000 utilities in the amount of $20,000. D, funding water sewer fund GL account 592-539-791-000 meter supplies in the amount of $20,000. E, funding water sewer fund GL account 592-537-981-003 CSO L43 in the amount of $34,000 as outlined in 9-B.
Support.
Okay, motion made by Councilman Ahmad and supported by Councilman Constant. Is there any discussion on that?
Council Chair,
Councilman Wenzel, go ahead.
I just asked the comptroller, do any of these categories that were just mentioned involve the wage trim grant
No,
program?
no.
Okay. That's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Okay.
As he's the controller. All right. Any other discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye. Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is item 9C, Library Director McCaffrey disposal request.
Council Chair,
Councilman Baydoun?
do I have to read every single thing that we're just?
You know what, just say as submitted.
Okay.
As outlined.
Council Chair,
Well, but give some summary as to what those are all are. Before they read them specifically? Oh, I thought you were giving me the.
yeah, okay.
Outlined in
I'll
9C.
read.
As
That the
outlined in
Dearborn
9C.
Heights City Council approve the disposal of the following equipment which will be donated, sold, thrown out, or recycled based on the item in question. as outlined in 9C. There's a bunch of things here, TV stands, tub TVs, printers, cash counters, typing stands, 2 old APC units, so on, 9 copy units, 2 tanks, and a tree with, I'm just joking.
Seconded, Council Chair.
Okay, my motion. Motion made by Councilman Baydoun, seconded by Councilman Ahmad. Is there any discussion on that? Just a quick comment. I'd like to commend that we are going in a direction of not just throwing out stuff, but considering recycling and/or donating. So I don't see him here, Library Director. I'm sure
He's
he'll
on
be here.
Zoom.
Oh, is he on Zoom? Okay. But I commend the city for going in that direction, because in the past, when we'd have older items that were being replaced, we just throw them out. And I commend the city for trying to recycle or donate for those that need that type of stuff. So, all in favor, please state aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is Police Chief Hart, Archive Social Subscription Payment.
Council Chair,
Councilman Constant,
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the annual payment of $2,988 to Archive Social for the cost of social media archive services. In addition, authorize the mayor and comptrollers or clerk to sign the necessary warrants on behalf of the city, and for the treasurer to issue payment out of account number 101-300-818-000 as outlined in 9D.
Second.
motion made by Councilman Constant, seconded by Councilwoman Breyer. Any discussion on that? Okay, all in favor, please state aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is Planning Commission Chairwoman Zamet, rezoning on Inkster Road.
Council Chair,
Councilman Muscat.
I thought you were going to say
That's still
Councilman
done.
Packers.
No Packers.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the rezoning of 104 lots on Inkster Road from Hickory Court to Terrell Avenue, with the exception of 4 lots having the following parcel numbers: 33-013-01-0021-0021-306 and 33-01-01-0021-307 and 33-012-01-0021-308, and finally 33-012-01-0021-309 from R1 Single Family Residential to Office Use to RM Multiple Dwelling Residential District to allow for further development at that location as outlined in 9E.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Councilman Muscat, seconded by Councilman Baydoun. I just want to clarify, Councilman, I just want to make sure just we get it right. What it was is R1 Single Family Residential and office use.
Office use, yes.
Yeah, okay, I
Yes.
think said two,
Two.
okay,
Yeah.
so we're good. All right, any discussion on that?
Council Chair,
Councilman Baydoun?
I think this is well long overdue, and I'm excited that hopefully this gets passed today.
Okay, thank you. Just a little history on that. The city's gone back and forth a couple different times over the years, zoning that particular street in different direction. And the primary focus for the city for changing the zoning, administration changing the zoning, and I was at that planning commission meeting for that, is to entice more residents or even from outside the city to do more development on that particular street, because that's a major thoroughfare right across from the hospital, great area close to Ford Road, but development on that for the last 40, 50, whatever it is, years has been very slow coming. So despite Ford Road being a super crazy hot road for people to develop on, it hasn't spilled over onto Inkster. So administration decided to go in this direction, to change the zoning on it so you can encourage more development. And basically what's going to be is RM, which is Multiple Dwelling Residential District. Okay, any other discussion on that?
Yes, Council Chair.
Councilman Constant, go
And
ahead.
I agree. So up and down Inkster Road, besides the apartment complexes, which are, heavy use and use a lot of city services, there's a lot of open land. I know a lot of property owners and developers up there. There's a couple group homes, but that area, like Ford Road, as you indicated, is ripe for development, and it should be rezoned.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. You want to say anything, or you want You good? Okay. Any other discussion items on that?
Council Chair,
Councilman Wenzel, go ahead.
when this first came to us, I was opposed to it. We're putting it back to where it was before. It was changed, not recently, but, within the last 10 years or 15 years or something like that. One of my oppositions to this is being done right before, this is a major rezoning. Okay, this is not one lot or something. And this is being done right before our master plan is established. So I'm not in favor of this because this is something that should be looked into through the people developing our master plan, seeing if this is exactly what they want. And we didn't have any luck before with this zoning, this type of zoning, this exact zoning it was before. I believe it was this exact zoning.
No, this is different.
No, but this is,
Before it was single family, now it's.
no, before single
means
family.
before that.
Before single family, it was this. So I'm opposed to this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilman. Any other discussion items on that?
Council Chair?
Councilman
And I know
Baydun?
I had a conversation with the director, Rick, and he told me that this was long overdue. He said that there are many places across the city where people can't do anything because they're zoned strictly for office space. So you got these investors that want to come in and invest in the city of Dearborn Heights, but because it's zoned to certain properties of only strictly office space, investors are seeing themselves leaving the city of Dearborn Heights. So I know it's not right before the master plan. I wish I would have seen it on the master plan, but unfortunately, we're here in a position where there's a transaction and there's new investors coming into the city.
The original intent by the city when they switched it where they were allowing office use, the original intent by one of the building directors, or the building director at the time, was to encourage medical office, et cetera, and spilling over from the hospital onto Inkster and having people develop that. It hasn't panned out in, I don't know, I think it's been 8, 10, 12 years. So that's why the city's trying to go in a different direction, just to encourage any type of development. Keep in mind, right now, I can tell you as a Realtor, we're making next to no money on these vacant lots just sitting there empty. So obviously, when there's development, not only will it look a lot nicer, but in addition to that, we'll start bringing in more funds. Now, I want to preface that with this, because a lot of times people say, oh, yeah, the city just wants to make money. Keep in mind, when the city makes money, it only saves people, the rest of the residents in taxes, because we have more funds coming in to be able to do what we need to do to run the city, and therefore, we don't have to charge other residents higher taxes. So bringing in additional taxes is good for everyone involved. It's not for the city's personal pocket, obviously.
Council Chair, and just to
Councilman Clark.
Councilman Wenzel's comments, we're a residential city. We're all houses. This area, as you indicated, my son did his rotations at Garden City Hospital. The closest decent place for him to stay was out in Livonia. That area is right across the street from Garden City Hospital. So it's good that we're rezoning it now, and that will be in our master plan. We don't want to wait till after our master plan to rezone property that should have been rezoned years ago.
Thank you.
Council Chair,
Councilman Ahmad?
I also had a long discussion with Mr. Deep today, and he did explain all the inquiries that he's been getting about probably investors are looking to build probably multiple dwelling. But my understanding that, like we excluded 4 lots today, I think we can rezone maybe specific lots if needed to, back to office space if we need to, correct?
That's a planning
You might
commission
come up here,
decision.
because then they can't hear it.
We wouldn't rezone it, the planning commission.
Correct.
So that's a
Correct.
planning
It's a possibility to do so.
So, Councilman, you're correct. So now we're being consistent. We're taking the RM zoning and then extending it down. So that is consistent with what we have just north of these properties. If we have a request for a development that doesn't fit that particular category, we can always go to ZBA. So we can spot zone if we have to, but we believe this move now is going to make it consistent with what we have just north of that property. If you look at the zoning map up in the hallway, you'll see that's RM on the north end.
Mr. D, do you see any conflict with rezoning this today with the master plan, maybe in the future?
Not expecting it. No.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Deeb. Any other council, man or woman? None? All right. So item 9E, motion made by Councilman Muscat and supported by Councilman Baydoun. All in favor, please state aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please take roll call.
Dave Abdallah,
Yes.
Hassan Ahmad,
Yes.
Mo Baidoon,
Yes.
Nancy Breyer. Yes. Robert Constant,
Yes.
Ray Muscat.
Yes.
And Tom Wenzel.
No.
Motion carries 6-1.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Motion carried. Next item on the agenda is item 10A.
Council Chair.
Councilman Baydoun?
Thank you so much, Council Chair. I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council refer the Joey Law petition to a study session to be held on Tuesday, November 29th, 2022, as outlined in 10A.
Seconded.
Okay. I believe this
Support
was
by all.
Councilman Muscat, the earliest one I heard. So motion made by Councilman Baydoun, supported by Councilman Muscat. Is there any discussion on that? Okay,
Council Chair.
That'll be at
Okay.
6 PM.
but I just want to clarify, and I've,
And say the time.
just make
for the
sure,
meeting.
please do not talk about anything due to the specific investigation that's still
Hey,
going
Council Chair,
on.
we
Okay,
had that
go ahead.
conversation.
Go
I'm
ahead.
just saying, it says here, it's happening on the 29th. You know what time?
So I scheduled a study session for this coming Tuesday, the 29th. At this meeting, I've already spoken with the mayor, and we're hoping to have all the interested parties from within the city there. I believe it was at 5:30, if I'm not mistaken. It's 5:30. If we didn't completely set it, let's go ahead and set it for 5:30, please.
Or
The
6.
Councilwoman Breyer
Huh?
saying that's a bad,
That's what I thought. I thought it was 5:30.
I've got
Huh?
plans.
we could do 6.
I'll be late.
Oh, 5:30.
We work.
I know, so do I.
I'll be late.
She indicated that,
It wasn't.
can we do it 6?
Yeah.
Can you do 6?
I'll be close as I can.
Let's just do 6.
Okay, let's do it. Let's change it to 6 PM, please.
It's rough.
And if you could do me a favor, George, can you do an announcement on the email on that? Just correct, thank you. Okay, so what we've done a study session. There will be the interested parties from the city there, whether it's DPW, whether it's our city engineer, Director Deep, maybe our police chief or somebody from the police department will be there. Hopefully, somebody from the school system will be here to give at least their input. We will be looking at all the different parameters and then go from there, move from there. But it was much easier to do it as a study session than to do it here during a council meeting and discuss different pluses, potential challenges that we could possibly have, just to make sure this goes in the right direction. Okay? Any other discussion items on that?
Council Chair,
Councilman Wenzel?
you just mentioned, you hope that someone from the school districts will be there. Are they invited, or has someone taken the initiative and invited them and let them know about this and what it pertains to?
So this became somewhat, if you want to call it official today, where it's announcing that there's a study session on that on Tuesday. And it'll be, I'm sorry?
I would be happy to call.
Yeah, if you
All the
want.
school districts?
Do you want me to call all?
I think you should invite
Yes,
all,
please.
Yeah, all of them.
Yes, please.
yeah, all the superintendents should be
Just
involved.
send out an email to all of them,
So, Chris,
please.
Council Chair, does that include Dearborn schools too? Because,
This is pertaining to anything within our city.
so, without Dearborn, I'm sorry?
Right,
So you went Dearborn, Taylor, Wayne, Wesley?
whoever wants to be here.
Dearborn and Taylor?
5 school districts.
Yeah, but I'm thinking.
3 blocks of Taylor.
Don't we have 6 school districts? 6.
Okay. Any other questions on that?
Yeah, Council Chair, it's a good idea to invite the neighboring cities, because let's not be naive and think that, we can come up with all ideas on our own. We have to take input from everyone, not only in our city and neighboring cities, but from around the country, and be proactive. Like I mentioned this before, a couple of meetings ago, before this tragedy happened, that we should come up, and this was involving speeders. Why don't we come up with our own ideas, the state of the art? I don't know what they are, because it's not, it's not my field, but let's think outside the envelope on this. Speed bumps are cool, signs are a good idea, but let's get input from everyone, not just, city council and administration and school board.
That's what we're doing.
I know that. I'm saying that's why I want all these neighboring cities.
Right.
That's a
And-
good idea.
and that's why, Councilman, I scheduled a study session, because I knew obviously this is a very important item, and anybody and everybody is welcome.
Is there some?
As you know, this is open to the public, so
Yeah.
anybody can come in.
Is there some kind of I don't know, company that specializes in traffic safety?
Well,
I mean,
again,
is our traffic safety?
The study session is the starting point
Yeah.
for this.
Well, we
To
got
figure out
to
where
do
we
something.
stand,
We can't,
and then
you
we
know,
continue from there.
Council
we
Chair?
can-
Wait, one second, let me finish.
Well, that's my train of thought there. Okay, go ahead.
Council Chair?
Councilman Cohen.
I know we have to move on this as fast as we can, but my only concern, is there enough time to have everybody in by next Tuesday? Like,
Well,
especially
again,
all these people?
this is not the end all. This is the starting point.
Okay.
If we resolve it and can go in the right direction, great. If we couldn't, then obviously, somebody's got to look into it further.
Tuesday coming, correct.
This coming Tuesday.
Council Chair?
It'll be
Yes,
here
it'll
at
be
in this same space.
Council
Okay.
Chair?
Councilman
Just
Constant?
briefly, I mean, there's always an issue around any school about parking. We've had all these discussions, for example, about whether Warren Valley can be used as the overflow for parents going to Riverside. But we're going to, our police department's going to be here, and everybody's invited, but yeah, talking about safety, lighting, so forth at our intersections. We've talked about speed bumps, and I'll just mention that we all know that one of the issues with speed bumps is the plowers plowing the streets, and they have special speed bumps now that can withstand that. So we'll hear from the experts.
Right, we'll discuss, we'll discuss all that we'll discuss all that at the study session. Okay, any other discussion items on that? Okay, hearing none, this one's, I believe, just received no one file, isn't that correct, Madam Clerk? Okay, you still wants to vote, okay. So all in favor, please state aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is item 11A. This is ordinances and resolutions for Mayor Bazey.
Council Chair,
Councilman Ahmad?
do I have to read the whole thing?
Yeah, you do, as fast as you can.
Okay. I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council adopt the following resolution outlined in 11-A, whereas due to safety concerns for pedestrian crossing Beach Daily within the area of Crestwood High School, the city of Dearborn Heights would like to implement a signalized crossing to facilitate safe pedestrian access to and from the school area. Whereas the city authorizes Mayor Bill Bazey to act on the city's behalf during project development and to sign a project agreement upon receipt of a grant funding award. Whereas the city commits to owning and operating the constructed pedestrian crossing and funding implementing a maintenance program in perpetuity or hiring a third party to maintain and operate the facility. Whereas the city will commit 20% in matching funding. Be it resolved that the city of Dearborn Heights mayor and city council hereby authorize the submission of a grant application to the MDOT TAP SEMCOG grant program, and be it resolved that the city of Dearborn Heights commit to providing matching funds for up to 20% of total project costs owning and maintaining the facility, and authorizing Mayor Bill Bazey to act on behalf of the city during project development and to sign a project contract upon receiving of grant funding. Be it resolved that the city of Dearborn Heights commits to being responsible for engineering permits, administration, potential costs, overruns, and any non-participating items.
Second. Okay, motion made by Councilman Ahmad and seconded by Councilwoman Breyer. Is there any discussion?
Council Chair. I didn't hear, I'm sorry.
Any discussion on that? Go ahead, Councilman Muscat.
I just got one question here, if someone can clear this up for me. Where is the match coming from? And is anything going to be matched by the Crestwood School District on this for that? Because from my understanding, there was talk with the school district about matching funds to 20%. Is there anything available on that news from Mr. Deeb or Hassan Jamal or?
About the county.
Well, that's our road. It's not a county road.
Yeah, from
Ford Rose Avenue was our.
So the stretch, Councilman, that stretch is our road. It's not a county road. So that
Correct.
stretch. So the project came about last year after the issue we had. I think
I've been
Mr.
dealing with
Ajami
that
came
for
up and talked.
about
So we
7
had
years.
it. We've looked at it. We've looked at the possibility of using a device, an engineered device that meets all the qualifications. So and we found we found it. So basically, this is a Hawk high-intensity crosswalk type device with a cantilevered signal, and it is on demand. So basically, a pedestrian can cross on demand, and we positioned it in a location, but 3 houses, just I counted the houses, Council Chair, from the school entrance. So it is not at a corner. It is on a stretch, and we will have updated crosswalk and ADA compliant. So it's already engineered. Approximate cost about $150,000 for the entire thing. So we approached, because we know it's expensive, so we approached MDOT, SEMCOG, and there are grants available for such things, and we explained to them prior to the deadline of September 15th, I believe, the project, and they were extremely excited. They said they put it on top of their list at an 80-20 match. So what you have before you today is they required us to commit to the 20% if they give us the 80. So they'll pay 80% of the 150, provided we commit to the 20%. Now, we will have discussions with the school trying to find the 20%, the $30,000. But at this point, I like to secure the 80% before we proceed further. It is a good project, and what they say about some of the updates that we need, like the crosswalk, we don't have ADA compliant drops throughout the city, so that will be something that we will have to pay regardless. I mean, even if you go today and update your ramps, you need to make them ADA compliant. So we do have some costs, even if we do nothing. But it is a good project. I mean, you have a chance to get 80% paid by the state. They're excited to do it.
I just wanted to know about the 20%.
I haven't received any commitment, but we're not giving up yet.
Okay, thank you.
Council Chair, while you still up there?
Councilman Wenzel, go ahead.
You described this as a signalized crossing. I mean, you used some technical terms a little bit. Can you, in layman's terms, what is this?
So if you have you been to U of M Dearborn crossing from their dorms to the school? That's a duplicate of that.
I mean,
It's
I know what it is.
high
I mean, I know, but I mean, is it someone walks up to the sidewalk and it detects them and starts flashing?
No, you push the button.
Push a button,
So you've
okay.
it's not, so there are 2 different kinds, and we elected the duplicate of Dearborn. The device is not hanging by wires, so they're signals. They're traffic signals, red, green, but these are on cantilevered posts, so they're nice. They're actually high intensity, and they work. So for both ends, you can cross either way. All you have to do is push the button, and it will synchronize with the rest of them and turn red, stops the traffic, and then you've got designated crosswalk, and the sidewalk to the street has ramps. We will put ramps that are ADA compliant. So in a way, I talked to Dearborn. That signal over by U of M was extremely successful. Kids use it all the time. So we're trying to make it convenient, so it's not too far up, because I want the kids to use it.
So you said cantilever, not, I don't know if everyone knows what that means. It's going to be on a pole, and then it's going to go out over the road,
Yes.
just like a traffic light would on any intersection. It'll be hanging over the road, and it'll
Yes,
be
sir.
yellow, the red, the green. And
Signal, full signal, but it's on demand.
Yeah.
So if there's no activities like on non-school day, it's just off.
Is it flashing during non-school days?
No, just, you can synchronize it any way you want, but normally it's just doesn't, stops.
Is there a maintenance box or something included on this? Some kind of, something that's going to be on somebody's property to program it, or is it programmed?
No, we just maintain it the same way we maintain all of our traffic signals. So it's just the traffic signals, we just add it to our traffic signal maintenance.
All right, thank you.
Council Chair?
Okay, Councilman Constance first.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Thank you. Is it going to be north of Crestwood or south of Crestwood?
So,
Right by Lawrence.
yeah, so it's 3 houses,
South?
3 houses north of Lawrence intersection. You may be
Close
counting
to, if
today.
you're coming into the football field,
Yeah.
the parking lot off of Beach Daily, it's close to there, by the Canfield Center.
Yes.
So it's closer to the fire department. So is it going to be linked to the fire department?
No, we're keeping them separate because that one is not a normal traffic signal. It's an emergency light. So that is to be hit, and then you turn red so you can,
Okay, so what if the fire truck is leaving and somebody hit,
There will be synchronized, so it will be synchronized. Even the timing, so you have a distance, travel distance and stopping distance, it will be synchronized. It's just not an arbitrary light. It will be synchronized.
thank you.
Council Chair.
Councilman Constant?
Yeah, and quickly, the point of all this is we have to hear from the experts. I mean, so is the issue regarding parking at every high school, dropping off, picking up an issue? Yes. This particular development, that dorm was built by private investors, and you're correct, when the students are there, they have to cross. And so, is it synchronized? Yeah, there was a,
So the one in Dearborn doesn't have too many lights adjacent to it. There's one on Evergreen and one, so they're not as close as our light. Because initially, I was trying to see if we can utilize the emergency light near the fire station. And then the second option was to go all the way to Wilson. But the main idea here is to try to make it convenient for the kids to use. You don't want to, no one's going to walk all the way to Wilson to cross the, Beach Daily. So you want to make it convenient. You want to make it convenient so it can get used.
Well, for those that are not
Engineer,
familiar with
thank you.
this, for those that are not familiar with the situation, this is on Beach Daily, very common, very, 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 very common, that for kids, instead of walking all the way down to Wilson, which is about a block and a half down, maybe 2 blocks, or all the way to Fort Road, about 3 blocks down, and that's where the lights are at. In a perfect world, they'd walk 2 blocks, cross, walk 2 blocks all the way. In the real world, unfortunately, kids are not doing that. They're crossing right at Beach Daily, and there's been a couple of kids that have been hit by cars, and very, very unsafe. So that's why this has been, I think, 5-6 years in the works.
Council Chair, I just got some real quick closing remarks.
Okay, let me just make sure, Councilman, you're all set?
I'm all set.
Councilman Baydoun, then
Thank you.
Councilman Muscat.
And I know, and I'm not going to take Councilman Muscat's thunder on this. I know that this is something he's been working on, and not just there, but across the city. So I commend you for that, and I commend the mayor for working alongside with this. I know that Mr. Janney would show up to the meeting. I know his son was actually struck while he was riding his bike, and so that I'm sorry that happened to his child. I hope that this can go across the entire city. This isn't just at Crestwood. Hopefully, we can figure this out at the middle schools, at the elementary schools. And if it's going to cost us 20%, why don't we do it citywide? I think this is a great experience for everyone.
Yeah, and this also has a good chance of the 20% getting matched with other funding. But at this point, the grantor of the 80% wanted us to commit that we
Yeah,
have the
I understand.
20%.
I understand.
$30,000, I think.
I'd love to see this happen at D7.
Yes, sir.
I'd love to happen, see this
Okay.
at all the school districts.
Okay.
So I thank you for that. And
No problem.
Mr. Mohammed Janney, congratulations. I know that this is something you've been working on. I spoke to him at a recent football game. It was something that's always on his mind, so.
I tell you for a fact, this probably wouldn't have had a chance of getting here today without the work of Mr. Muhammad Janney.
absolutely.
Oh, he was on top.
Okay. So, item 11A, motion made by Councilman, I'm sorry. Councilman Muscat, go ahead.
In summary, Councilman Mo Baydoun said it all. I was approached by Mr. Janney, probably 8 years ago, and I brought it up on multiple occasions about this, and it just doesn't deal with Crestwood. It deals with everywhere, and I've said it, all along. All school districts, for some reason, they have certain signages on roads and everything, and Dearborn Heights lacks that horribly. And I disagreed with some former police chiefs about cost, and I even said, what's the cost of one life? I even asked one police chief what was the cost of his child's life, and I got no answer. So I was really shaken by that, and I'm glad this is going through, and I'm glad we're having a study session next Tuesday.
Okay, thank you very much, Councilman. Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilwoman Breyer. All in favor, please state aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is item 13B. Now, just to clarify, Madam Clerk, is there a reason why we're starting with B, or is that just a typo? Yeah, I think it's a typo on motions. Okay, we're
Council Chair.
good. So item 13A, business license renewal.
Council Chair.
Councilman Constant?
Pursuant to item 13A, I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council renew the business license for MHS International located at 20475 West Warren as outlined in 13A.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Councilman Constant and seconded by Councilman Baydoun. Any discussion on that?
Council
Hearing
Chair,
none.
what kind of business is that? You know? Do we know? Just for everyone's.
That's a car, they got this is the old Burger King. So they have a car wash, an oil change, and I think that's it. It's the old Burger King right by Garling and Warren Avenue, across from Detroit, close to where, I think it used to be a Kroger there at one point.
Yeah, I did.
Was it? And they just basically repurposed it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay?
I was just there the other night.
Okay. All in favor, please state aye. Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Next item on the agenda. All right.
Members of the public.
Yeah, I know. I just have to make sure there's a motion made by council, on 13A, motion made by Councilman Baydoun. Who seconded that, please?
He made the motion.
Okay, motion made by Bob Constant,
Motion.
seconded by Councilman Baydoun. All in favor, please state aye. Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is members of the public. First of all, we'll start with comments from council members.
Council Chair?
Councilman Wenzel, go ahead.
Thank you, Council Chair. I got a few things. First of all, I'd like to recognize a resident we have in Dearborn Heights, a very great individual, Mike Mackey. He's the operator of Elite Sports. He coached two teams, Little League football teams, recently to the Super Bowl championship for the freshman team and the JV team. The guy does so much for the city. He's an outstanding resident. Never wants to get any recognition, so I'm probably mad at me for doing this. But I was thinking maybe we should do something more special for the guy. I mean, have council recognize him officially or something like that. But Mike's done so much for the city, and we probably don't know half of the things that he does because he is a very humble man, and he's a very great person to have in Dearborn Heights. Secondly, tomorrow or this Thursday is Thanksgiving. And, you know, Thanksgiving, when you look at it, it's when the Pilgrims sat down and ate dinner with the Native Americans, and that helped them out through the year planting crops and stuff like that. And not a whole lot of people know this, but November not only is it a great month for veterans and the recognized groups and systems. It's National Native American Month. And we have to acknowledge the Native Americans, what their contributions to our country. I mean, they lived here long before anyone else. They lived on the streams and fields, and to this very day, they still live on these streams and fields, maintaining them in a great way. And I personally have experienced a lot of this. My wife is Native American. She's Cherokee and Blackfoot. And we don't do everything, but we do, acknowledge and we do participate in some things. And so congratulations to our Native American residents for their contribution to our country. And tomorrow is Wednesday, the night before Thanksgiving, which is typically the busiest bar night of the year. So I'm encouraging everyone to drink mildly. If you drink and you need a ride, call for a ride. And there's lots of companies and organizations out there that'll give you a free ride. We just don't need any tragic accidents happening. So just enjoy yourself. Have a happy Thanksgiving. And another thing, November is also National Adoption Month. And the governor has issued something that says today is National Adoption Day. And being a parent of 5 orphan grandchildren that we've adopted, I know the pleasures and the trials in adopting children, but the pleasures far outweigh any of the problems you have with them. So if anybody's even thinking about it, I'd look into it. It's a very, very heartwarming experience, and one I can't even explain until you do it.
God bless you.
Thank you. One thing I had an issue, and I talked to the police chief about this last weekend on November 12th and 13th, the District 7 Dads Club had a football game, a night game on Saturday, the 12th. And there was an issue where a threat was made to by an adult to come back and shoot the place up. And we had games the following day on Sunday. And I called, I text people in the police department, and I called and dispatched. And to my dismay, there was no police car dispatched to the football field. I was told that they couldn't do it because they were doing other things. And I needed a police officer out there because we didn't want this to happen, especially now coming up on the anniversary of a very tragic shooting. And in the recent past few days, all the shootings have been going on around the country, and even here in Michigan, in our area. So you can't take these too lightly. And I was very upset that this happened. And the police chief assured me that he's looking into it, but this is something that we shouldn't have to look into. There should be procedures involved. We actually had to have two of the parents that had permits to carry guns stand there and guard the gates with their own guns. And I think this is, something we have to look into. There's zero tolerance on this. One other thing, my hat goes off to David Kniezek, great resident of Dearborn Heights. The guy never stops fighting for the residents and the children, the playgrounds, everything. And the guy is a phenomenal young man with a great future in the city. And this Tuesday is Giving Tuesday. And my nonprofit is Jamie's Kids, and it's involved in a very, very great program called ShareDetroit.org. If you're looking at helping out anyone, there's a long list of people you can help out. Go to SharingDetroit.org. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other
Council Chair?
Councilman Ahmad, go
Thank you,
ahead.
Council Chair. I have an announcement from the Assessor's Office. Poverty tax exemption are due at the Assessor's Office by Monday, December 5th. Whoever is going through hardship and are not able to pay their taxes for 2022, an application can be found on the website, and please submit by December 5th. This Thursday, fellow Americans across the country will gather with loved ones to celebrate Thanksgiving and give thanks for the blessing from the past year. Thanksgiving is a chance to be there for one another and recognize the people who make a difference in our lives. Thanksgiving is a chance to appreciate the many people who contribute every day to our communities. I'm thankful for my family and friends, my colleague on council, city administration and staff, our police and fire, our nation armed forces that selflessly defend our country's fundamental values of justice, democracy, and freedom. I'm extremely thankful for our wonderful Dearborn Heights residents that call our great city home. This holiday also reminds us that many people in the U.S. and around the world do not share equally the benefits we enjoy. Thanksgiving asks us to remember those less fortunate and to show compassion to those in need, not only today, but every day. On behalf of myself and my family, I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, filled with good company, happiness, and peace. Thank you, Council Chair.
Thank you.
Council Chair.
Councilman Muscat, go ahead.
I guess everybody has got their Thanksgiving Day program down, and I appreciate all that is said. And I wish everybody out there a very happy Thanksgiving. Unfortunately, mine won't be so happy because I'll have an empty chair this year with my mom's passing a year ago on her birthday on Thanksgiving. And but one thing we can remember when you have an empty chair, that chair gets filled in heaven at the feast that God provides for us all. So I'll give thanks to that. And hopefully I can get through it this year and in the coming years. But on another note, I was informed today that our rubbish pickup took down a pole at Richard Young Center again.
Oh, gosh.
And priority waste, and I'm hoping that that gets repaired by them ASAP, because I don't understand how that happens, since that's a pretty large parking lot. I can't see how that happens. It's mind-boggling to me, but I just want to make you all aware if you didn't know about it, okay? And I want to bring up a subject, if you don't mind, Council Chair, about, and this was brought to my attention by a resident that's very much involved in our city. She does, keeps me informed about things going on that I don't even know about, and I thank her very kindly. But Airbnbs, I did contact the ordinance officer, the ordinance department, and our building department. Airbnbs we have 14 of them, I believe, in our city. Yeah, or more. And we don't have any ordinances or anything of that nature about them. These can become a major problem. People that just rent a house for one day, throwing wild parties, drug deals. It could be anything. It could be just a legitimate, I'm coming in from the airport, want to spend a night, that's fine. But to me, that's like a hotel or a motel. And they should not be in the residential areas at all. And I'm going to ask council to tag along with me if possible, and asking our attorney to find a way out of this, that we can stop Airbnbs and things of that nature in our city. I don't think we need them. Like I said, they could have wild parties in the night and destroy a piece of property or neighbors' properties, and the neighbors don't have to put up with that sort of stuff. So to me, it's a motel or a hotel in a residential area, and it should not be tolerated. It's my opinion, and I'm hoping that all the other council members can agree with me to have the Corporation Council look into this. If not, I'll have to write a resolution. I don't really want to write a resolution on something that should be done in that nature. And I do have something here about things that we do have about bed and breakfasts also in our ordinances. So I think I'll pass this along to our Corporation Council for him to look at. If everybody, and if Council Chair, if you could.
Readily agree, but I think there's state legislation prohibiting cities.
Yeah,
Go
I don't
ahead, I'll
believe
let him.
Well, but I'm just saying, we can find, there was a lot of state, there was a lot of problems where we were delivering newspapers all over the place
Yes,
as
there
litter.
was.
And we finally put a stop to that.
Yes.
And as Councilman Wenzel was saying about the school crossings and all of that nature, we need to be a leader, not a follower. And if there's something that we can do to help other communities stop this nonsense, then I'm all for it. So I'm going to ask Council Chair if he can just poll the council and see if we can have the Corporation Council look at this.
I'm not sure if we could take this, something like this to a vote, but just at least look into it if it's allowed to where we can
Stop it.
I'm not saying necessarily yes or no myself, but
Yeah,
I don't believe it'd be allowed.
Until you give me direction. What I will
Right.
do is research it, see what the status of the ordinances are. If they're legal here, and if there's a problem with it, but you have to make the decision.
Right.
Well, and so.
I authorize you to look into it, but this would not be a vote, this would not be a final. That's something we'd have to vote on the council eventually, but at least let us know.
I know that the one time, the great Marge Horvath one time told me, she goes, if you want the Corporation Council to do it, just look at them and say, do it. And I'm saying, do it. As a councilman, I think you need to be told to do it.
Council
I just
Chair.
have to figure out what. I'm just gonna look and see what the ordinances are. That's what I
At this point.
At
understand
this
my
point, well,
direction
that's what you have to do to see what's favorable to us and what we can do to prohibit them.
All right, we gotta go to the next subject.
Go ahead.
Councilman Constant, go ahead.
Go ahead. Let
No,
Ray finish.
I'm done.
Okay, go ahead, Councilman.
Well, look, I agree with Councilman Musket, and there are more than probably 17 Airbnbs. There's a house on Gully and Hanover where the man operated not only a house that he rented out for parties, he also rented cars, and these little cars ran back and forth to the airport and so forth. Having said that, I will check, or I'm sure I'll help Corporation Council check. The realtors are in favor of, this is mainly for rural Michigan, letting people who have cottage houses rent their property out in Airbnb. And there was a state legislation prohibiting cities from locking out Airbnb. So I'll have to look it up and see if that passed. That's number one.
Okay, two.
Number two, I also want to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone. And I will be spending Thanksgiving with my family. My oldest son, John, who's a doctor and doing his second year of residency at University of Wisconsin Medical Center at Madison, won't be with us because he'll be working. He's the resident, so he'll be working all Thanksgiving. And I just want to thank my oldest son, John. He got a call. He thought something was wrong with Dad. He polices my medical closely. He has access to my chart. In my family, we have a history of strokes, and all the men in my family have died of strokes, and I have high blood pressure. My son, John, got a call early in the morning on Wednesday that maybe there was a problem with Dad. He took the day away from the hospital, jumped in his car, and drove 6.5 hours to my house in Dearborn Heights. And he called me, and he said, we're going to the emergency room now, and we're getting you checked out. And I says, hold on, son. And he banged on the door, and he's about half my size, walked in and grabbed me and said, I'm leaving, and you're leaving with me. We're going to the emergency room, or I'm going to call an ambulance. So I appreciate my son. I don't see my children often taking the time to do that. And I join Councilman Ahmad and everyone that Thanksgiving is time to thank the Lord and for our family. I also want to quickly thank Nate Can, Leslie Winless, Latanya Gator, and their nonprofit group for the service to the community and to our poor. They organized an event at Richard Young Center and had coats and necessities, toothbrushes, and so forth available for less fortunate members of just Dearborn Heights, our community. And also for the food, it was delicious, catered by Hamza Hassan and Baba Grill, a local business, provided just gourmet food, stuffed grape leaves, etc., for that event. So thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so for future purposes, councilmen and women, let's try to limit these as little as possible, maybe post on Facebook, send out letters, whatever, but honestly, these are getting to be a little long, so keep
Council
these as
Chair,
minimal as possible.
everybody's just expressed, it's the holidays, Council
As
Chair.
minimal as possible. Okay, who's next?
The Grinch came out of Dearborn, right over here, Council Chair.
All right, go ahead, Councilman.
I just want to give my quick kudos. It was my brother, yes. My brother yesterday was the Grinch in Dearborn. And so he stood at the top, yes. And, my mom said, what are you doing? What if you fell?
Sheed?
Yeah. So kudos to my brother Sheed. But I just want to give some kudos to Mr. Rick Watland in the building department. I swear, I think this is my third time in this month saying this, but the man really goes above and beyond. He's working, in and out, day in. I mean, if he's not on inspections, he's in there getting yelled at by another resident. So I mean, really, Rick, if you're out there and you're listening to this, thank you for all that you do. I had a resident call me the other day and said, I was greeted at the building department by Rick Watland. He turned out to be the director, and he was phenomenal. And so I said, that really made me feel really good, knowing that, somebody walks into the building department, walks through administration. I know the mayor constantly states he has an open door policy. He's teaching customer service. And so kudos to the mayor and to Mr. Rick Watland. My second thing is happy Thanksgiving to everybody. My wife is extremely upset with me. We're arguing when I'm going to go to her family's house, when she's going to go to my family's house. She's not getting flowers on our anniversary because this anniversary lands on Thanksgiving. Nobody's giving out flowers on Thanksgiving. It's just a huge mess. But I am very thankful for her. It's been a beautiful 4 years. We got an amazing son. And I told her, you know what? I won't have Thanksgiving with my parents. Sure, you got it. And so it's okay. And then finally, I just want to say about the crosswalks. I think this was something that's amazing, something that was well overdue. Thank you to the administration, thank you to Corporation Council, to the mayor, to the school districts, and anybody who took initiative in this. But I know the DPW director is here. I'm going to ask you publicly, please. There are crossing guards, there's our cross paths at elementary schools and middle schools. One happens to be Kenlock. I believe I sent you an email. I sent it to all of everybody here on council. It needs to be repainted. They're not visible. Cars are blocking them. I know that the police department has been in contact as well, and so they're working on something, but those crosswalks are faded. Can we please, before the snowfall or before the spring starts, get those repainted Even if that means we have to call a company to come out and, repaint them across the entire school district, throughout the entire city of Dearborn Heights, or anywhere that people, residents of Dearborn Heights go, please let's get that resolved. I think it'll probably cost us $300. Don't even bring it back to council, just paint them. I think everybody on council will be okay with it.
You want the job?
I don't want the job, no. I'm not a good painter.
I mean, I can motion to give him the job for $300.
I can't even do it. Thank you.
All right.
But lastly, council here, I know this is a little off topic, but congratulations to Councilman Abdullah. I know that the Lions are on a 3-year winning streak. This is the first time since 2017. Hopefully they win this Thursday. We're going to cheer marching down the field for the Detroit Lions. God bless everybody and have a happy
I'll be there.
Thanksgiving.
The devil needs a little bit of heat down in hell because hell must be freezing over because the Lions are winning.
All right, any other council man or woman? All right, hearing none. Next up is community announcements from administration. We have our wonderful, Madam Treasurer, go ahead.
Okay. Tough act to follow right there. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I am going to speak briefly as a resident, and then I'll go right into treasurer mode, okay? You've all made great comments. Again, thank you for your comments earlier, by the way. That is from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. I want to real quick, we keep talking about Thanksgiving, and these are great feelings, and great things have happened in our community. There were a lot of distributions this past weekend. We did turkey Thanksgiving dinner distributions. We distributed over 100 coats to children throughout the community. I know you guys had a distribution, right? Councilman Ahmad, right? And the mayor. So really, thank you to everybody for that. We have a really great community that does that and rises to the occasion. And I think it's like year round, right? It's not just Thanksgiving. It's all the time. Always giving and helping each other. And I think that's what makes Dearborn Heights amazing. Now, I'm going to put on the treasurer hat. Are you ready? Oh, he's not even listening. I can talk all night, right? I mean, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I will be really short and sweet because it's your friendly reminder of winter taxes. I know, you're excited. December 1st, we're going to mail out the winter 2022 tax bills. So you'll get them hopefully that week in the mail. I'm not even listening right now. I'll talk to you later. But thank you, Councilman Ahmad, for mentioning the poverty exemption, by the way. We want to make sure people are aware of that, to file by December 5th with the assessor's office. But again, you're going to get your winter 22 tax bills will be mailed December 1st. They are due, here's the best part, Valentine's gift, they're due by February 14th. All right, after the 14th, there's a penalty. But you have any questions, call your treasurer's office. We're happy to help. We're always available to you. That number is 313-791-3410. And that's all I have, other than happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Council Chair.
Go ahead, Councilwoman.
Yeah, I just want to announce that tomorrow night, even though it's the day before Thanksgiving, the Ecorse Creek Commission will have their meeting, 6:00 p.m. at 3335 South Beach Daily. We will be electing officers for next year, and everyone is welcome. Also, I'd like to thank the council members and the mayor and everyone that participated in both the Berwyn Thanksgiving last Tuesday and the one at Eaton today. Everybody had a great time, and thank you for all the input from the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Any other? No. Go ahead. Library Director.
Hello, Council Chair and Mayor. Just want to talk about a couple of things. First off, our holiday program, Holiday Memories, has changed venue. Co-authors John Milan and Gail Often invite you to join them on Tuesday, December 6th at the John F. Kennedy Jr. Library from 6:30 to 8 for a pictorial tour of seasonal highlights throughout the state, past and present. Join them as they peek through the frosty windows of family memories with archival photos and film footage that celebrates nearly 100 years of Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, Christmas, and New Year's cheer. Note that this program is being moved from CK to JFK. We are also going to be accommodating the tree lighting with a craft handout on that day. So on Tuesday, November 29th at the Carolyn Kennedy Library from 7 to 8:30. Join us as we talk about the Michigan 24th Infantry. Its local ties to Dearborn Heights. The Michigan 24th is part of the vaunted Iron Brigade and helped stem a huge Confederate movement at Gettysburg that may have saved the Army of Potomac from obliteration. So come on out as we talk about that. Our gingerbread house program sign up is going strong. We're going to be delivering starting them December 12th. We have over 600 signups now, and they're still going. All ingredients are halal. The craft kit is designed for children and teens. Go to our website at dhcl.michlibrary.org and sign up through December 4th. We also have Toys for Tots boxes at both our libraries. That program is going probably for the next couple of weeks. I don't have an exact date on finishing it, but we got that going. So feel free to come on out and drop off presents, new toys, good shape, and we will collect them for you. So everyone have a fantastic Thanksgiving. That's all for now. Thanks for your time,
Director
and see you at the
McCaffrey.
library.
Is that the famous Michigan 7th Cavalry that got the nickname for the state of the Wolverines?
No, it's the 24th Infantry.
Okay, I thought it was about the 7th Cavalry that
Yeah, there's a few. Yeah, the 7th Cavalry was also a big deal at Gettysburg, as was the, I think it's the 9th Sharpshooters. I can't remember, but
That's how the state of Michigan got the Wolverine state.
Yep.
It wasn't the Spartan state, it was the Wolverine.
That's enough.
Yep.
All right.
Maybe I'll do a follow-up presentation each of them.
I hadn't done that in a couple weeks. I really wanted to do that for Councilman Hope doing it, our clerk, but so I needed to do that.
All right. Any other announcements from administration?
We do have one online.
I'm sorry?
We do have one online, Councilman.
Okay, our Recreation Director, Kim Lawrencell, go ahead, please.
Hi, I just wanted to remind everybody about the tree lighting on Tuesday, December 6th. At 6:30, we have the band, the Crestwood High School Jazz Band starting off. And then 7 o'clock, the program. We also have the Riverside Choir that's coming to lead the carols for us in the evening. And Santa will be turning the lights on with a child resident of the city, so look forward to that. There's also going to be cookie decorating, hot chocolate, face painting activities. So we hope to see everybody there. The location has changed. It's at the Dearborn Heights City Hall instead of the Canfield Center. We had to change for technical reasons. So hope to see you guys there on Tuesday, December 6th. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. It's always a nice event.
Council Chair, can you just ask her, is it, just to put it out for the public, Director, is that free of charge to the residents?
Yes, it is.
Just wanted to say that, for those at home.
Okay,
All right.
thank you. Okay, super quick, Director.
Sorry, one more thing. We have a mitten tree at JFK through December 17th. So if you have gloves or scarves in good condition, come on out, put them on the tree. They'll go to needy residents. So thank you very much. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Director. Any other comments from any directors or administration? All right, seeing none, next up is public comments. You will have 3 minutes. Please state your name. I'm sorry?
Are you going to go Zoom first?
No, we'll start this time here. You'll have 3 minutes. Please state your name, the street only, not the address, the street only that you live on, and the city that you live in. Come on up, sir.
Good evening. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Good evening.
At the last previous council.
Name,
Oh, yeah,
city,
sorry
street.
about that. Fred Strapkowski, Columbia Street, Wayne County, Michigan, Dearborn Heights. Is that good? Okay. Previously, at the previous city council meeting, it was brought up about having Wade and Trim do our grant writing program. For the longest time, I've mentioned we needed a grant writer. Thank you for approving it. Also, Mr. Wenzel, I kind of agree with you. If we're paying $58,000 for the service, why should we pay the additional $3,000 per grant? Or is it possibility that they could take a percentage rather than being charged $3,000 per grant. A total percentage over the total amount of money that they make or get us. So, or depending on what we end up paying them, we may want to consider also hiring a grant writer full-time, if it's 100,000 or whatever. But anyway, I know Mr. Jamal's pretty busy with all the things that he's been doing. He doesn't have the time to do it. But thank you for getting that done, and I'm hoping that we get a lot of money out of it. And that's pretty much basically it. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Okay.
Have a great day.
Thank you, Vince. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Vince.
Anybody else in the audience that would like to speak?
Oh, if there wasn't a policeman here right now.
You know why Michigan doesn't float off into the...
All right. Let me cut him off right away. Let's cut him off.
Cut 'em off.
Anybody else that would like to go up and speak?
Council.
Come on up, sir.
Pass the handout. All right, that's your handouts. Thank you. Sir. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Ron Frenzy, live on Fairwood in Dearborn Heights, and this is a part 2 of revamping how public comments are done. Now, this is nothing special because the Board of Education does it this way, plus the Board of Education in Dearborn does it this way. But I just added a couple of things for myself. So how would this happen? 5 minutes before 6 o'clock, the council chair would say, if anybody has any public comment, come up and get one of these sheets to fill out. Okay? Then when the appropriate time is at 7:30 or so, then the council chair would either say all or part of it, part of the top part, which I'll just say. The meeting of the city council is held in public for the purpose of conducting city business. The purpose of the public input portion of the agenda is to hear audience concerns and to give their recommendations about city matters. There is a time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. The council chair should call only on a person's first name. That's real important. When recognized, please stand and state your first name and the issue which you would like to address the council. When speaking, please make your statements clear and concise. You're responsible for the accuracy of statements you make, adhering to rules of common courtesy. In order to permit a fair amount of time for participants, speakers will be limited to 3 minutes with extensions of time to 5 minutes when needed to finish their thoughts and presentation. No pre-arrangements of extra time is needed, which makes council chair's job a lot easier. So no pre-arrangements of extra time is needed. When extra time is given out on a generous basis, direct all questions to the city council chair. So a person would just put their date, area code, their phone number, print their name, their last name, email, and just have a brief summary of what they're going to talk about. Then just before people will give their talk, the council chair could collect all these statements, and then they would say who would talk based on just a person's first name. And then they would talk. And there's two things that would happen to the statement. One is you could put it in a folder and just keep it, which is okay. Or let's say somebody had a comment about Ecorse Creek. Well, who knows more about Ecorse Creek than Ms. Pryor? So you could take this. You could take this with the person's comments, give it to her, and she could work out between the persons in the general public about Ecorse Creek, and then they would come back and for any further discussions. Okay. So how do you like that?
We'll take them into consideration.
Yeah, okay. But again, this is nothing special. This is just what the Board of Education does and what the Board of Education for Dearborn Heights and also Dearborn does. And what's nice is you have a record of the person's name, their phone number, their email address, which you don't have now. You have an accurate representation of what went on in the meeting for the laws, but you don't have any record of what people talked about. But now you do. Very good. Okay.
Thank you very much, Ron. Anybody else in the audience? Seeing none? All right, next up. Well, one second, let's see. Anybody on Zoom? I don't see nobody on Zoom, Madam Clerk. Councilman Muscat would like to comment as a resident.
Is that yours? You want to time me?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you want me to time you, huh?
Well, I want to be fair, right?
Well, your time's up if you're
10
talking about Michigan
seconds.
football.
It's like it's started. 11-0, baby. That's all I got to say, okay? We didn't lose the Indiana. Get back, Ray Muscat, Havelock Street.
Okay. And for full disclosure again, you're not-
As a citizen, not as a
citizen, not as a
councilman.
councilman.
Okay. Unfortunately, at the last council meeting, I couldn't attend because of some health issues. But I'm very disappointed, and we have a Wade Trim as our grant writers. I don't like giving away money for someone writing a grant and paying them to be a grant writer, then paying them again for whatever percentage of whatever the grant is. I'm very disappointed in that. It's just I don't think it's good business personally, and I wish I was here. I know my vote probably wouldn't have mattered much, but I just want to tell the public how I felt about it, and I personally think we could have done better and saved money. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilman. Any other, nobody else on Zoom?
Thank you.
Okay, somebody motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Councilman Constant, supported by Councilman Muscat. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.